at some point in life, we're all going to struggle. We're going to be confronted with something. There's going to be some obstacles that we feel that, we can't overcome. Or when you're on your path to success, there's always going to be those roadblocks here and there. It's a part of life. And I think that's what's so rewarding when we do achieve what we achieve, is because of those failures, because of those struggles, because of those roadblocks. Athletes that have achieved an amount of success, I think when their doubt creeps in, or there's naysayers or there's doubters, I think the best thing that I ever did, obviously, I think, was believe in myself. That's first and foremost. Those roadblocks can come in different forms. It can be own mental roadblocks. It could be outside criticism. It could be media. It could be anything. It could be personal problems. It could be family problems. Anything can trigger you and to try to get you off track. Those are struggles. I think an athlete, again, to get to where you want to be and the process in which it takes to get there, you have to be addicted. I saw and I listened to what the coach said and they saw in me, which was a lot of potential. And I just wanted to build on that. But at the end of the day, we're all going to struggle. I struggled, but I didn't quit. And that's what I encourage a lot of people to do. Just don't quit. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so for me, that mindset of just not wanting to quit, not wanting to succumb to the ebbs and flow of the game and, disappointment, having short-term memory. Nobody's perfect. You're going to have those days. Some days you're going to have it, some days you're not. And it's the great ones that look beyond that mistake and just have short-term memory and go to the next play as if the bad play just didn't happen. That's where you have a small percentage of great athletes in every sport. You have your average, you have your good, and you have your great. When you talk about the GOAT, or you're talking about the greatest of all time, I may not be considered the GOAT in some people's eyes, but if you look at me and you look at my highlight, I definitely fit the description. If I didn't have the coaches that pushed me beyond really I think my own limits or my own expectations, I don't think that I would have become the receiver that I became. I don't think I would have been this guy that became T.O. Obviously, like I said, when you talk about physically, I fit the description of an athlete. I fit the description of one of those physically imposing receivers. I guess became a poster child for prototypical receivers that came after me. Because if you look at the transition of the receiver position before me and after me, they started to become bigger, faster, and stronger. You think of guys like Calvin Johnson, they called him Megatron. You think of Julio Jones. These are big body type of receivers that possess, not only just, the hands and catch radius, but when you think about the speed and the power of these guys, I think that's something that people marveled at as they saw the progression each and every year that I played in the National Football League. And I think after my third year in the league, after I made the catch against the Green Bay Packers, I think that instilled a lot of confidence in myself that I could play, and I could play on a big stage. It didn't start out particularly well, but that's where the cliche, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I realized as I started to really score touchdowns and my touchdown celebrations became a topic of discussion. I thought it was something positive, but when commentators and analysts started to really create this narrative that I was being selfish, or I was taken away from the team concept, or making it all about me or becoming selfish, honestly, I didn't take that very well. I didn't think that that's what I was doing. And so for me, I could have allowed that outside noise or that criticism manifest and really deter me from really doing what I really wanted to do and be productive on the football field. If I would have allowed that to really eat at me and not allow myself to be who I was in the football field, then it could have been disastrous. It could have been like pretty much, it could have made or break, who I was as a talent, and could have made or break really my career. But I think it all, like I said, it all stemmed from, how I was raised and my grandmother and the things that she taught me. She basically taught me, people, when you start to become successful, you're not going to be 100% liked by everyone. And so there's so many layers and so many elements of being a professional athlete and being in that sport. You're going to be subjected to criticism, whether you do good or bad, and people are going to talk about you, good, bad, or what have you, but you have to be strong-willed. And I think that's who and how I was. And I think a lot of that, like I said, stemmed from the upbringing of my grandmother. But at the end of the day, I think an athlete, again, to get to where you want to be and the process in which it takes to get there, you have to be addicted to bettering yourself. You have to be addicted to bettering yourself. And that's what I became. I became addicted to the process of the success that stemmed from my off-season workouts. Once I got a personal trainer after my third year, it was very different in my approach and things that I had ever done since high school and college. But I was receptive to that because I hired him as my personal trainer. We had that dialogue, we sat down and we talked about what I wanted to accomplish, not only just from a football standpoint, at that point in time going into my fourth year, but what did I want to accomplish with my workouts? What did I want to get better at? From a physical standpoint, how did I want to get better? He asked me, assess your body. What do you want? What do you want to get out of these workouts? And so for me, I was a skinny, scrawny kid. I was 6'3" frame, coming out of college. And at this time, 3 years into the league, I was physically imposing, but I wasn't satisfied at where I was at that point in my third year, going into my fourth year. I had come off one of the biggest games, made one of the biggest plays, catches in my career. At that time, considered one of the biggest catches, I guess, monumental type of catches in 49er history after the catch, by Dwight Clark. And my catch was, kind of pegged it myself as the catch too, considering, wild card game, really a rivalry over the years between San Francisco, Green Bay Packers, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks now in Brett Favre, Steve Young. And so, like I said, I played in a very monumental game where the stakes were high, wild card game. The game honestly went almost down to the last seconds. So that's something, again, like I said, that catapulted me to be where I am today.